Hello. Um, for those of you who have never watched these before, I started in September doing an interview series called Entrepreneurs with Erin. And it just started because I was really meeting some great people, and I know some great people. Sorry, I'm adding my friend Jen. Yes, please. Come on. But I did want to give you some background. So normally I do these in my group. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I'm giving a little background since I'm moving this from my group to my main page. So normally I do them in my group, which is wellness, self-love, and beauty. But I thought there's no reason it needs to be there. So I'm moving on to my main page. So if anybody has some feedback about that or advice or anything like that, and they want to go ahead and put it in the comments, please. So this is Jennifer. And so I met Jennifer in a networking group called BAM, which is Business Among Moms. And she's a scientist turned wellness advocate. So first, why don't you tell us your background? What kind of scientist-y stuff were you doing?
Sure. So I kind of call myself a recovering skeptic now, but I'm trained as a molecular biologist with a minor in chemistry, and I did cancer immunotherapy research for a lot of years in a couple different small biotech companies down in Seattle. So I really loved the idea of being able to kind of harness the power of our own immune system to fight cancer and other disease instead of just pumping us full of, drugs that is currently what we're mostly about in terms of treating disease. So that was really my heart for wanting to do that kind of research.
Yeah, and then why did you stop?
Well, I loved working in the lab, but I really stopped because if you've ever been in a position where you love what you do, but the circumstances surrounding how you're doing it change, and it just is like grinding teeth. And I also had my babies, and so my children are now 9 and 7 years old. But when I was having my kids, I realized that commuting downtown and spending all that time away from them wasn't something that I wanted as much anymore. Something else became more important than working, 40 or 50 hours a week doing what I loved, but there was something else in my life I loved more. So I started looking to make a change. I first went and did part-time research, which I was very fortunate that they allowed me to do. And then I did some mission work for a while, and if you're a mom out there or a dad who is able to stay home with their kids, it's just such a gift to be able to do that. And so I was looking for ways to spend more time with my kids. So I still miss the lab, but I don't miss the time. I haven't had to miss the time I've been able to spend with my kids. So it's been great to not have to commute downtown Seattle anymore.
Yeah, and and then I know for me, when I was making that decision, you're also paying for childcare, which means you're working for pennies, and and I'm taking tax out of my income, and I'm paying someone else while I eat my lunch, and I'm paying someone else while I drive my car to work and drive my car home. So even though the hourly rate was not equivalent, it ends up being most of your pay.
Yes, and let me clear the record. You do not get paid a lot to be in research.
Yeah. Well, oh, okay. My brain's on a whole little tangent right now. I'm gonna bring it back. Um, so, so what then, I guess, inspired you to become a wellness advocate, and what does that mean?
Well, I'm sure, like many of you who are watching this, you have friends and family that are sick all the time, and you see them navigate I call it the sick care industry, but they navigate the healthcare industry. They're trying to look for answers. And in my own journey, I found that I was relatively healthy. I didn't have any big needs, but I always knew that I could do a little bit better. So I was searching for something that fit into a hectic lifestyle with kids, that fit into a lifestyle where I didn't have to give up everything, and it wasn't very restrictive. And when I started looking for my own answers and finding what worked for me, I stumbled into this whole new arena that they never taught me in school. They don't teach prevention and wellness when you're going to school to be, typically to be in any type of medical or research industry. They just teach you the nuts and bolts. And so when I came across what true prevention was and how much our bodies could really do when we fed it the right way and we treated our bodies with the respect that they deserve. I was I was astounded at how simple it could be and how much just me sharing and being able to share what I've been learning and what I have found that is simple and that works. And that's based in research because that was a big deal for me. I saw just immediately some of my own personal family getting better. And I thought, my gosh, if I can be in a position where I can still help people, and that's the whole reason I went into cancer research, is I thought one day I could help develop something that could really help someone. But what if I can have the best of both worlds? What if I can be home with my kids when I want to be? And what if I can still help people and I can make money at it and I can do it on my own time? I didn't even realize that that world existed out there. And so being able to be an advocate for people's wellness and give them the education so that they can decide what's going to be best for them, and try something out and see if it works and get paid for it on my own time is kind of a dream come true. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty awesome.
Okay, so this is my tough, hard-hitting question. Are you ready? So I know that you are in an industry that they call it virtual franchise, but it's essentially kind of within the network marketing term, correct? As is Ever Skincare. So what do you say to people that are like, this is a pyramid scheme? Like you just see me, you see all your friends as money, like those people that really question that business model.
Absolutely. I usually first ask them what their experience is with that business model, because a lot of times people who have had a really bad experience, and it's just like any other company out there, there are some people that are really awesome in their industry, like let's say a car salesman or a lawyer or a doctor. There are some amazing people out there in those professions, and there's some professions or some people and some companies that aren't amazing, but we can't throw all of them into one pile and say they're all the same. So I usually try to ask, gosh, you sound like you've had a bad experience. So I first of all want to know what their experience is so I know what they're drawing from. And then the second thing I do is I say, based on your experience or what you've heard, it doesn't sound at all like the company I'm working with. Are you open to hearing why what I do is a little bit different and more of a virtual franchise model? And that does draw from a network marketing perspective. It also draws from a corporate America business model as well as a franchise model, and just see if they're open to learning about it. And then I would explain the business model to them. And then as far as one of those things or a pyramid scheme, true pyramid schemes are illegal, so it's kind of a non-starter for me. And then in terms of like an MLM or a pure-based network marketing company, there are so many different types of business models out there. I encourage them to go look at the different business models and find out, well, maybe there are some they want to do business with, and maybe there are some that they wouldn't. So that's usually how I approach that with people. And people are pretty receptive because they want to share their stories.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I like, number one, that the comparison that you say, like, lots of people are buying used cars, right? And we have this sort of used car salesman is fits into a certain box, and yet most of the used car salesmen are probably not that cheesy guy, that we have in our stereotype, right?
Yep.
Same, or and then you can have a terrible experience with a doctor, but that doesn't mean all doctors are bad, or a terrible experience with a lawyer. So I like that, and I like that there's the other point out that just there's different models, right? Like, and there probably are some out there that you should be wary of, and they're probably,
Yep.
And as a physical therapist, when I was in the field, people asked me a lot about chiropractors, and that was always my answer. It's like, yes, I've heard some really shady chiropractor stories. I don't think that all chiropractors fall into that bucket. I think there's some really great chiropractors that can do some really great things for you. So,
Absolutely.
We can't generalize, just because you had one experience with one person who was doing some things that were borderline, shady, doesn't mean that everyone's on that path.
Yep.
Well, do you have any closing remarks, any advice to people who are considering entrepreneurship, any things that you've learned from being an entrepreneur that you feel like apply to the rest of your life that you want to share with us?
Yes, absolutely. So I think the biggest surprise to me, and I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I was this person who worked in the lab, and I would go to the gym, and I would do my family stuff, and we'd travel. So being an entrepreneur was never something I ever thought I would do. And the biggest surprise to me is how much you actually have to work on yourself, because people want to do business with those they know, like, and trust. And if you don't know, like, or trust yourself, no one's going to want to do business with you. So if you are an entrepreneur or considering starting a business, there are so many books you can read. There are business coaches you can get. Talk to other entrepreneurs that are successful. Success leaves clues. So find someone in the industry you're going into and interview them, talk to them, ask them the hard questions, because it's not for everyone. But if you can get in a company that you respect, one that you like, if you're doing network marketing, a business model that you like and that works well for you, it is one of the most freeing things to be in this industry, because you really get to have a say over the type of business you want and the type of life you want to lead. So definitely go in with your eyes open and knowing you're going to have to do just as much work on yourself as you are on the actual business side.
It's so true. You know, if you're a procrastinator, guess what? You're going to be a procrastinating entrepreneur. If you're a introverted person, you're going to be an introverted entrepreneur. That's I've heard that from many places. It's a lot of your entrepreneur, your business work is really you're working on yourself and making yourself and growing as a person, which you know I think is the beautiful side effect of it. But you have to, you know, that is something to be aware of. That it's not like you know, you just pick up and you follow this plan and I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yep.
not this external thing, right? When you're doing it yourself and it's your business, it's very personal, and it's your personality has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining me. And again, for those people who haven't seen my previous entrepreneurs with Erin, I'm going to put the link to my YouTube channel, which is where I just keep a log of all of them. And I'll upload yours sometime this week, probably, hopefully.
Awesome.
And what else?
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful to have met you as well. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thanks. Bye.